After 10 years of being Judy's sidekick, she got bored and posted an ad. To transfer me, great cook on call 24/7, highest bidder wins. The guy she likes immediately liked it. 10 minutes later she deleted the post and casually put up a new one. Punishment for losing a game. Don't worry about it. But someone had already worried about it. Judy's best friend, who I knew suffered from an eating disorder, called me right away offering an incredibly high price for me to be her personal chef. I even took the money. When Kathy's call came, I was in the middle of cooking and just answered it without thinking. Is this Mr. Boyd? This is Kathy Wilson. This is he. What can I do for you? I was a little confused. I had no idea why Kathy Wilson would be calling me. During freshman orientation at a university, we were all forced to live on campus. Kathy was Judy's roommate back then. After orientation, they both moved off campus, but they'd stayed on good terms. I didn't know her well. We'd only met a few times through Judy. The voice on the other end of the line said, I saw Judy's social media post. I remember you're a great cook. Would you consider coming to work for me? Kathy explained everything in just a few sentences, then asked $5,000 a month. How does that sound? If that's not enough. Wait, I said, finally processing it. What post? I put the phone on speaker, switched apps and pulled up Judy's social feed. She hadn't posted anything. Kathy paused, her cool, pleasant voice tinged with confusion. You didn't see it. A moment later she sent me a screenshot of Judy's post. Judy had posted it 2 minutes ago and had intentionally hidden it from me. Transferring my gopher great cook on call 24/7, highest bidder wins. Under the likes, a familiar profile picture stood out. It was my roommate Sean, the same Sean that Judy had announced she was going to win over. It felt like a piece of my heart had been ripped out. I just stood there stunned. I need a chef. Kathy's cool, detached voice pulled me back to my senses. The price is negotiable. Okay, my voice trembled slightly as I responded. I clutched my phone and accepted. After hanging up, I looked at the table full of food I'd just made and suddenly felt ridiculous. My dad is a driver for the White family and my mom is their housekeeper. So I grew up in the staff housing of the White family estate. Judy loved to have me play with her ever since we were kids, and she insisted I go to school with her too. Just like that, 10 years went by. When it was time to apply for college, even though there were other places I wanted to go, one little pout from Judy and I gave in, following her to Boston. After 10 years together, I thought we were the best of friends. I had even secretly started developing other feelings for her. That was until college started and Judy met Sean. It was love at first sight for her. She came to me again and again asking for help and advice on how to pursue him. My heart sank, but I calmly accepted it and agreed to help her win him over. Even if we couldn't be something more, our years of friendship had to be real. Until I saw that post. So in Judy's eyes, I wasn't even a friend. I was just a gopher she could transfer at will. After we got to college, Judy became a picky eater. She couldn't stand the cafeteria food and wouldn't eat takeout. So I'd carve out time every day to come over and cook for her. When she skipped her fluff classes, I'd go for her and do her homework. If she needed someone to run errands or bring her a bottle of water, I handled it all. Thinking about it now, it's no wonder Judy thought I was a gopher she could just transfer. And I was the idiot who was naive enough to think that a rich girl like Judy would ever see me as a real friend. With a bitter smile, I took a picture of the meal I'd just prepared and sent it to Kathy. I just finished cooking. Do you want to eat now? I can bring it over. Kathy replied instantly yes. Then she transferred me $200 and sent me her address. Once I got the money, my sadness eased, but a surge of anger took its place. Judy never paid me a dime, so what gave her the right to treat me like a servant? And what gave her the right to transfer me? Kathy was way more generous. Just as I was about to leave, Kathy sent me another screenshot of Judy's feed. Punishment for losing a game. Don't worry about it. Sorry, it looks like she was just joking. My mistake. Joking. My heart sank even further. Even if it was a joke, it meant that in Judy's mind I was just someone she could casually joke about. I texted Kathy back, it's fine. Our deal still stands. Okay. Kathy sent me a waiting for you sticker. I stared at the animated puppy sticker in silence. Kathy didn't seem like such a lively person from her appearance. One of my roommates was a local from Boston and went to the same high school as Kathy. He told me she was famously difficult to get along with back then. She had an angelic face that looked like she was above it all, but her words could cut you down to size, and she didn't give anyone an ounce of respect. I started to worry, if she didn't like my cooking, would she yell at me? I didn't mind being yelled at, but would she ask for her money back? It was $200 after all. Anxiously, I followed the address to Kathy's house. I stared at the 2-story standalone villa and paused. Why can't I be one of the rich people in this world? I rang the doorbell. Kathy answered the door, her face pale. I froze for a second, a question forming in my mind. Was Kathy this thin the last time I saw her? She was wearing a loose black t-shirt. Though her delicate frame held up the shoulders, the rest of the shirt hung empty. The skin on her face was stretched taut over her bones, making her already fine features look even more pronounced. After a quick greeting I asked, "Are you sick?" She seemed surprised by my directness, stunned, then gave a soft Good thing I'd made a relatively light meal. I came inside and took the food out of the insulated container. "I made this on short notice. If there's anything you don't like you can let me know." But my worries were clearly for nothing. In less than 10 minutes Kathy had devoured everything, leaving the plate spotless. She seemed like she'd been starving for a long time, but that didn't make sense. It's not like she couldn't afford to eat. I didn't overthink it. Seeing that she was finished, I got ready to clear the table. "I'll get it." Kathy beat me to it, taking the dishes to the kitchen. A pretty decent employer. I sat in the living room scrolling through my phone and happened to get a message from Judy. "Where'd you go? Sean said he wants to try some dishes from our hometown. I remember you're really good at that one dish. Add it to the menu later. Oh, and he doesn't like green onions. You haven't finished cooking for today, have you?" "Never mind if you're short on time, just make a few extra dishes without green onions." Is she ordering me around like I'm her personal servant? This is the 21st century. "No," I replied decisively. "I've been transferred. You can cook for yourself from now on." The typing indicator on her end appeared for a long time, but no message ever came. Kathy came out of the kitchen, pulled out her phone with a neutral expression, and transferred me $5,000. She didn't say a word, but money talks. I stared at my account balance, ecstatic. If I was going to be a gopher, it was going to be for someone like this. In the end, Kathy and I came to a happy agreement. I would cook 2 meals a day, lunch and dinner. On days I didn't have class, I'd come over at the scheduled times. If I had class, I'd prepare the food in advance and leave it in a warming cabinet for her. But I couldn't help but feel a little guilty taking so much money just for cooking, so I decided to be her right-hand man, available whenever she called. Judy called, sounding a little guilty. "You saw that post?" I didn't say anything. I didn't mean it like that. It was just a joke. I still stayed silent. Judy's voice grew more urgent. "Didn't I post later that it was fake? I didn't actually mean I was going to transfer you." A man's voice came through the phone. "Judy, you and Leo used to be so close, it's understandable he's upset. Just give him some time to cool off. How about we go get some sushi? I know a really good place." It was Sean's voice. After hearing Sean, Judy seemed to make up her mind. "You need to think this through. I can't keep you by my side forever." Then she hung up. That was completely ridiculous. Keep me by her side? She's been watching too many historical dramas. Any lingering feelings I had for her vanished completely. I blocked her on everything. I'm not an idiot. After starting college, I realized I liked Judy, so I went along with whatever she wanted and helped her with everything. I even reined in my own feelings to help her chase after Sean. But Sean was always bothered by my presence around Judy. To put Sean at ease, Judy chose to draw a line between us this way. To make it clear that I was just a gopher she could transfer away at her whim. If that's how it was, then there was no point in me sticking around to be humiliated. I started splitting my time between campus and Kathy's house. Kathy's place was close to school, only a 20-minute walk. But claiming she didn't want to waste my time, Kathy got me a scooter. It was a top-of-the-line new model from a famous brand. When the keys landed in my hand, I was moved beyond words. How could life be the same no matter who you're with? With Kathy, I had everything I could possibly need. With Judy, all I got was dragged through the mud. After that day, the atmosphere in my dorm room grew tense. Sean would often brag about the designer watch Judy bought him, the fancy restaurants she took him to, and how good she was to him. But no one paid him any attention. I was busy running back and forth all day cooking and studying, and by the time I got back at night, all I wanted to do was crash. My other 2 roommates were either lost in games and live streams or had their heads buried in books. After a solid week of this, Sean couldn't take it anymore. After class, I hopped on my scooter ready to zip over to Kathy's. I twisted the throttle, but it didn't move. A force was pulling from behind. I turned to see Judy grabbing the back of my scooter. She frowned. "Leo, the first, know you're mad at Sean, but you can't team up with people to bully him." Bully him? We were both speaking English, but I couldn't understand a word she was saying. Did I hit him? Did I curse him out? Judy's face paled. "He said you and your roommates are ganging up to give him the silent treatment." I scoffed. "Leo, we've been friends for so many years. He's my boyfriend. Can't you just be decent about this?" Friends decent? Who was the one who announced to the world I was a gopher? Who was the one not being decent? Who was the one who used me as part of their game? There was no point in arguing. I said coldly, "Let go, I'm in a hurry." Judy didn't release her grip, her face a mask of disappointment. "You're only bullying him because I like him, aren't you? Leo, even if we can't be together, we're still friends. Besides, me not liking you has nothing to do with Sean. Even if he wasn't in the picture, it would never happen between us. We've known each other for so long. If we were going to get together, we would have already. You don't need to take it out on him." She was just saying whatever came to mind. But so she knew how I felt about her all along, which means she made me help her chase Sean on purpose. I looked down and gave a sarcastic smirk. Judy thought she'd hit the nail on the head. "Leo," she said earnestly, "I think it's time you got a girlfriend. I have a few friends who are great people. You've met them. I can introduce you." She listed a few names. "You've met Kathy too, but don't even think about it. She has very high standards." "Hey, how long are you going to talk?" A familiar voice cut her off. A hand and patted my shoulder. Judy turned and saw Kathy walk past her, swing a long leg over and settle onto the back of my scooter. "I'm in a hurry to get home and eat. If you have something to say, text him." Kathy's voice was nonchalant. "Kathy." Judy looked from her to me, her expression full of suspicion, as if something had just clicked. "No wonder you had the guts to block me, so you found yourself a new target," she sneered. "Leo, your feelings really are cheap." Kathy sighed lightly. "Cheap? Weren't you just telling Leo to find a girlfriend now that he has? You're not happy about it." Judy's expression shifted. "Kathy, are you serious?" Kathy didn't deny it. "I'm pursuing him." I felt a little embarrassed. Kathy was a goddess-tier figure at a university. My benefactor was using her own reputation to back me up. She really had my loyalty on lock. The atmosphere grew thick. Judy took a step back, her breathing heavy as she sneered. "Kathy, do you have any idea that Leo is?" Judy. Sean appeared at just the right moment, grabbing Judy's arm. "It's okay, you don't have to stick up for me. I'm moving out soon anyway." Judy seemed to remember something and calmed down. "Stop pretending you're just trying to provoke me, aren't you?" Her gaze swept over my face. "On one hand you bully Sean out of jealousy, and on the other you get Kathy to put on a show. You've got a lot of tricks up your sleeve, but I'm not falling for it." Judy pulled Sean away. As she passed Kathy, she whispered, "I don't know what Leo offered you, but you don't have to play along with his act." I felt a weight on my back as Kathy's head rested against me. Her hair was soft, but it still tickled, a tingling sensation spreading from the point of contact all the way up to the top of my head. I stiffened slightly. "Let's go, I'm hungry." Her usually cool voice was low and a bit breathy, almost sounding like she was whining. A jolt went through me and I shook the strange thought from my head. Ignoring Judy's expression behind me, I twisted the throttle and the scooter shot forward. When we got back, I felt a little guilty. "I'm sorry you and Judy's relationship is strained because of me. After all, they were good friends. I only knew Kathy because of Judy." I still remembered the first time I met her. It was at a party where they all got drunk and Judy called me to come pick her up. When I got there, everyone else was wasted, only Kathy was still sober. Kathy wasn't as thin back then. She was leaning against the sofa, half her face hidden in the shadows. A simple black dress outlined her graceful figure and her profile was exquisite. She held a wineglass in her long fair fingers. She asked in a low voice, "Here to pick up Judy?" I nodded, my eyes finding Judy sleeping on her side on the sofa. Just as I was about to help her up, Kathy moved faster, supporting her. "Let's go." Her tone was flat. I felt a little awkward. "I can get her, you don't have to trouble yourself." "It's fine." I was about to leave anyway. Kathy helped Judy into the elevator and down to the car waiting outside, then left. After that, whenever I went to find Judy, I would always see Kathy. They even took the same electives. When I attended Judy's electives for her, I would often see Kathy there. Sometimes she would even save me a seat. Kathy's voice pulled me back from my thoughts. She lowered her long lashes, her expression a little searching. "Is that the only thing you wanted to say to me?" I remembered how she'd stood up for me in front of Judy today and how angry she'd made her. I had to show my appreciation. "Maybe," I asked tentatively, "do you need help with your elective homework?" The professor for the elective I was taking for Judy had assigned 2 short essays. I'd written them ages ago. Now that Judy and I were on the outs, there was no need to give them to her. Kathy blinked, then looked down and smiled a little helplessly. "Yes." The next second my phone buzzed with a notification of a $500 transfer. I tried to suppress the upward curl of my lips. "You don't have to do that." "Take it," Kathy said, leaving no room for argument. So I reluctantly accepted. After that day, Judy sent me a text from an unknown number. "Let's see how long you can keep up this act. You'd better act the same way in front of your aunt and uncle." "Aunt and uncle?" I sneered. When Sean moved out, he specifically warned me not to bother Judy anymore. He also said that when he and Judy got married, he'd have my driver dad and housekeeper mom fired. It was clear what Judy had been telling him about me. I needed to get my family out of the White household, and sooner rather than later. I grew up in the countryside. Later my parents brought me to the city to be Judy's playmate, and I lived in the staff quarters of the White family's home. Back then Judy really did treat me like a friend. Her social circle was full of people just like her. When they found out about my family background, they couldn't help but make snide remarks. Judy always defended me, kicking anyone who laughed at me out of her circle. Eventually no one said anything to my face anymore. But behind my back plenty of people still called me Judy's little follower, saying my whole family was leeching off the Whites. I didn't care what other people thought because I knew Judy and I were friends. But now Judy was just like them. When it was time to apply for college, I had originally planned to apply to a school in San Francisco. Judy's mother came to me, her smile warm. "Judy is going to a university in Boston and I'm worried about her. You should apply to a university too. You two can look out for each other and your parents will be more at ease. You've been inseparable for so many years. After graduation you can come work at the White family company and help Judy." My parents depended on the Whites, so naturally they wanted me to follow their arrangements. Most importantly, Judy wanted me to apply to the same school as her. Under the spell of my hidden feelings, I changed my applications. It wasn't until I got to a university that I realized things weren't so simple. Back in high school, Judy's mother had asked me to keep an eye on Judy to make sure she wasn't dating. Dating early wasn't a good thing, so after some thought I agreed read, and Judy never did cross any lines. But after she started college, her mother asked me to spy on her and report her every move. I didn't want to invade Judy's privacy, so I refused, using my busy school schedule as an excuse. Judy's mother didn't say anything to my face, but shortly after, an antique vase in the White household broke while my mom was cleaning. My family had to use most of our savings to pay for it, and my mom's salary was cut. That vase looked very familiar. When we were about 10, Judy and I snuck into the White family's storage room. We accidentally broke a vase that looked exactly the same and quickly ran off. When I heard about the incident, I thought it was a coincidence. Until a while ago, my mom messaged me saying that money was tight at home and if only she had been more careful and not knocked over that vase. Because it was one of a kind and Mrs. White had been generous, they still had to pay nearly $15,000. One of a kind. That's when I realized it wasn't a coincidence or an accident. Judy's mother had done it on purpose. As for why I sneered and slammed the knife down, hacking off a piece of chicken thigh on the cutting board. "What's wrong? Did someone make you angry?" Kathy's voice came from behind me. I took a deep breath, calming myself. "It's nothing." Kathy thought for a moment. "Is it because finals are coming up? Too much pressure? You can focus on studying during finals week. You don't have to come over." Really? My eyes lit up and I turned to look at her. Kathy was the most conscientious employer I'd ever met. Compared to a slave driver, even a capitalist seemed humane. Kathy nodded and asked, "What are your plans for the summer?" "Plans?" I tilted my head. "I'll probably find an internship in Boston. If I went back home, my mom would make me go help out at the White House again. I couldn't imagine being in that suffocating environment." "Is there a company you want to work for?" "Hissed that CEO-like tone. "Could it be?" Sure enough, Kathy said she was going to work at her family's company for the summer and still wanted to eat my cooking. "Come be my assistant, double pay you in." The family company Kathy mentioned was a Fortune 500 corporation. My eyes lit up. "I'm in." Compared to an unpaid internship, you'd have to be a fool to turn down a deal this good. I didn't go home for the summer. My mom called. "Why are you interning in Boston? Don't you have to pay for rent and transportation? You might as well have come home." Mrs. White even said she wanted you to accompany Judy to the company. "It's fine. The internship I found here is great and my boss is amazing. She got me a spot in the free employee housing." My mom was silent for a moment, then asked, "Leo, are you dating someone?" I frowned. "Who told you that?" "When Judy came back, I asked her about you. She didn't look too happy and said something about you dating." "Who was the one dating?" I said in a low voice. "Mom, don't listen to what she says and don't ask her about me." My mom's tone became cautious. "Did you and Judy have a fight? You guys were getting along so well, weren't you?" Before I could speak, she added, "Leo, you know Judy's temper. She's never been one to back down. If there's a problem, you should be the one to smooth things over." "Mom," I sighed, "the truth is we could only really hang out when we were kids and didn't know any better. Now we might not even be able to be friends. You don't have to worry about me and Judy. No matter how bad things get between us, it won't affect your or Dad's jobs." Judy wasn't the type to sabotage people behind their backs. Her mother, on the other hand. "What are you talking about? It's not about that." After hanging up, I readjusted my phone to the right angle. My benefactor was busy during the summer, so I couldn't miss a single meal. I started a food vlog, posting a cooking video every single day without fail. After a few weeks, one video went viral and my follower count shot up to 10,000. A lot of brands started reaching out for sponsored content. I'd cook, bring the food to the office to meet Kathy, and then start my assistant duties. Every day was packed and my boss would randomly make it rain. It made me want to sigh and say this was the life. When my followers hit 100,000, I had an idea. After asking Kathy's opinion, I edited her into a video, an anonymous version of course. Even so, the slender, graceful figure in the video, the elegant women's pantsuit, the long, well-defined fingers, the multi-million-dollar watch, and the cool, pleasant voice were enough for viewers to imagine a stunning female CEO. The video's traffic exploded and brand deals came flooding in. I was counting money until my hands cramped. I suddenly remembered I should give Kathy a cut for her appearance. Kathy seemed uninterested in such a small amount of money, but she was curious about something else. She stood behind me, leaning in to look at the comments. "They're all shipping us." I didn't comment. Putting Kathy in the video was admittedly a calculated move to guide things in that direction. How else was I going to make money? There are so many food bloggers out there these days. You have to add a little drama to stand out. "Shipping? That means they want us to be a couple, right?" Kathy asked again. Alarm bells went off in my head. I quickly backpedaled. "If you're not comfortable with it, I don't mind." Kathy's voice held a hint of a smile. She leaned in closer. "I'm ready to play along anytime." She was extremely close when she said that, her warm breath fanning the side of my face. My ears grew hot. I cleared my throat. "Well, if you're going to be so cooperative, I should probably still pay you an appearance fee." Kathy raised an eyebrow slightly. "Fine, you decide how much." My partnership with Kathy continued until the school year started. In 2 months, my account broke 500,000 followers. Between ad revenue and what Kathy paid me, I was practically a mini-millionaire. I considered whether I should commission a statue of Kathy to take home and worship. When I went back to Denver for the national holiday, I deliberately avoided the White House, but Judy's mother still managed to find me. She stepped into my family's apartment, looked around and commented casually, "This place is decent. My parents had bought this apartment last year when I got into college, a standard 3-bedroom. This was the first time Judy's mother had ever visited. I put on a polite expression, Mrs. White, what can I do for you? Judy's mother looked at me and got straight to the point. Leo the First just found out Judy is dating someone, why didn't you tell me? I was taken aback, Mrs. White, I said tactfully, I don't think I have any say in Judy's affairs. Judy and I hadn't spoken in 3 months. Judy's mother sighed, you've really disappointed me, it was just a matter of telling me, it would have been so much better if you'd told me sooner. I've met that boy and I didn't like the look of him, if you had told me earlier Judy wouldn't have been with him for so long. She took my hand, Leo the First watched you grow up, I know you and Judy are close, I even thought about you becoming my son-in-law. Her feelings for this boy are just a novelty, when you two graduate you can come work for the White Corporation or go abroad to study with Judy, we can discuss all of that. She said it encouragingly, I almost laughed. Was she trying to dangle a future in front of me to get me to fight with Sean? Unfortunately, after seeing Kathy's generosity, I no longer believed in empty promises. A pie you can't eat is probably not real. Judy's mother was extremely controlling, she probably didn't actually want me as a son-in-law, she just wanted me to get rid of Sean, whom she disliked. In her perfect scenario, I'd get rid of Sean, Judy would resent me and she would remain the good mother who respects her daughter's choices. Just like in high school when she had me watch Judy for any signs of dating, she would never ask Judy directly, she'd always come to me. Mrs. White, I chose my words carefully, I think Judy and I are both adults now. We were close when we were younger, but now we have our own separate lives. The smile on Judy's mother's face froze. When she left, the clicking of her heels echoed loudly. Before she went, she left me with one last sentence, Leo, when you have no power, being obedient is the wise choice. It's a shame you missed your chance to change your destiny, you'll probably be stuck living in a place like this for the rest of your life. The nerve, I clicked my tongue, so small-minded. When my mom got home that evening, I told her, Mom, you should quit. My mom was stunned, what's wrong, why so suddenly? I told her about Mrs. White's visit and the story of the antique vase. I made her angry again today, I don't know if she'll pull the same trick. My mom still winced thinking about the money they had to pay. Okay, as for a new job. My mom waved her hand, don't you worry, I've been doing this for years, even without this job there are plenty of people who want to hire me. It was true, a good private cook was hard to find these days. With my mom's skills, finding a new employer would be easy. And don't worry about your dad, she has no authority over him. My dad was a military veteran, besides being a driver he was also Mr. White's bodyguard. After all these years, Judy's mother couldn't just fire him if she wanted to. I nodded, relieved. My mom quickly resigned and moved out of the White House. That night a call came from an unknown number. I answered, hello. What is the meaning of this? Judy's angry voice came from the other end. We hadn't spoken in 3 months. Hearing her voice felt like a lifetime ago. Just because I'm not with you, you're going to make your mom quit, Leo, how can you be so selfish? What on earth was she talking about? I admit it, you win. Judy seemed to have made some kind of decision. I'll break up with Sean, come straight over when you get to Boston. Your fingerprint still works, and stop messing around with Kathy. You think she's some kind of saint? I hung up immediately. I can't stand hearing anyone say a bad word about my benefactor. After the holiday, I went back to school. My life went on as usual, except now I was surrounded by 2 lunatics. First, Sean ran up to me, eyes red, asking if I had said something to make Judy break up with him and that I must have seduced her. Then Judy would pop up saying the breakup was her own choice and had nothing to do with anyone else. This whole breakup drama attracted a crowd and I became the center of gossip once again. What was even more baffling was that Judy came looking for me, wanting to go back to how things were. Lately I've been thinking about you a lot and about our past. You're just missing your free chef, I said bluntly. Plus a free stand-in for your classes and a free errand boy. Judy frowned. Do you have to make it sound so ugly? I can say things that are even uglier. I stopped and gave her a half smile. What, you don't think I'm after your family's money anymore? Judy's face changed. How did I know? Not long after Judy and I had our falling out, I heard she was hospitalized, gastroenteritis and a fever from eating contaminated food. After hesitating for a long time, I made some light food, found out her room number and planned to visit. But as I reached the door, I heard her talking to a friend. The friend was teasing her, Judy, are you really going to cut off your little gopher for Sean? Can you bear to do it? Judy's voice was impatient. He's the one throwing a tantrum. Am I supposed to coddle him? Does he really think he's so important that I can't live without him? Stop pretending, the friend joked. Look, the second you're without your little gopher, your spoiled stomach acts up. You're not even serious about Sean, so why make things so difficult? Judy scoffed. You think he can stand to leave me? He's just throwing a fit because I'm dating someone. In the end, he'll be the one crawling back to me. He's found a new benefactor, you know, Kathy. Judy laughed dismissively. He doesn't even like Kathy, he's just doing it to spite me. To be honest, if I hadn't found out about his feelings for me, I wouldn't have pursued his roommate. He likes me, but it's just for my family's money. Besides, with his parents' status, Judy paused, if I actually got together with him, I'd be a laughingstock. And here I was about to crawl back to her. Hearing that outside her hospital room, I turned around and walked away. Now standing in front of me, Judy's face turned deathly pale. Back then you didn't want to go to a university with me. It was only after my mom promised you you a future at White Corp that you agreed. I've thought it through now, even if you only like me for my family's money I can accept that. Leo, let's be together, we've known each other for so many years, no one knows each other better than we do. Tell your mom to come back and stop putting on this act with Kathy to make me angry. She reached for my hand, I dodged it. What makes you so confident that I'm trying to make you angry? You want things to go back to the way they were, but I don't want to play along anymore. For the sake of our past friendship, let's not make this ugly for everyone. Clearly Judy didn't listen to a word I said. She started waiting downstairs to bring me breakfast, sending cakes, flowers and luxury gifts. On top of that, she started auditing my classes, attracting a swarm of gossip-hungry eyes. I was beyond annoyed. After this harassment continued for a while, I had no choice but to treat her like she was invisible. Until one day after class I got a call from Judy and Kathy's former roommate. Leo, you have to get over here quick, Judy and Kathy are fighting. I rushed over. According to their ex-roommate, everyone had been drinking at her birthday party. Judy and Kathy said something to each other and a fight broke out. In the private room, foamy broken bottles littered the floor. The lights were on full blast and the background music was off. It looked like the fight was over. As soon as I walked in, Judy, who had a cut on her lip, looked up at me, her eyes lighting up. Leo, you're here too. I glanced at her. She was fine, no serious injuries, and she could still talk. I scanned the room and finally found Kathy in a dim corner. She was leaning against the sofa with her hand on her forehead, her eyes slightly closed. I hurried over and took a closer look. Damn it, why does Judy always go for the face? Seeing the fresh scratches on Kathy's face, I cursed under my breath. Kathy, I called her name softly a couple of times. Kathy slowly opened her eyes, her gaze hazy. I asked tentatively, are you sober? Can I take you home? I held out my hand to her. The person who called me was confused. Leo, aren't you here to get Judy? The words had barely left her mouth when another beer bottle smashed onto the floor behind us. I didn't need to turn around to know Judy was having another meltdown. Kathy took my hand to stand up, but her foot slipped and she stumbled, leaning her entire body against me. I instinctively caught her slender frame falling into my arms. A pleasant cool fragrance mixed with the smell of alcohol filled my senses. Her body heat transferred to me and I felt dizzy, as if I'd been drinking too. My throat felt like it had been scratched by something, leaving my mouth dry. I struggled to compose myself and turned to the person who'd called me. I'm taking Kathy with me then. She scratched her head. Okay, as long as those two weren't in the same room trying to kill each other. Before we left, Judy grabbed my sleeve. She lifted her red eyes, her expression dark. Leo, are you really just going to leave me? Are we not even friends anymore? I was about to open my mouth when the arm around my waist tightened. I'm dizzy. Kathy grumbled, burying her face in the crook of my neck. What are you pretending for? Judy pointed to the cut on her face, her expression venomous. Leo, you didn't see how hard she hit me. I get it now, I get it all. I blocked you from that post, so how could you have seen it? It was all her. She's the snake who ratted me out, otherwise we wouldn't be like this. She sounded drunk and delirious, muttering to herself. I treated her like my best friend and she stabbed me in the back, trying to break us up. We grew up together. What is she? As she spoke, Judy lunged for Kathy again, ready to fight. The people around her quickly held her back. I quickly helped Kathy leave. Judy called after me, Leo, you're really choosing her over me. Her voice was low. You're going to regret this. After bringing Kathy back, I took out the first aid kit. Under the light, the scratches on Kathy's face looked even more startling. I dabbed some ointment on a cotton swab and gently applied it. Kathy lay on the sofa, her eyes half closed, her brows slightly furrowed. Does it hurt? I eased up on the pressure. I'll be gentler. As I was applying the ointment, I suddenly felt an intense gaze. I looked up and met Kathy's focused stare. I felt a pang of guilt. I'm so sorry. You got dragged into my drama with Judy again and you got hurt because of it. She didn't answer directly. Instead, she sat up and slowly leaned in. I leaned back slightly, asking uncomfortably, what's wrong? I wasn't just getting hurt. Those captivating phoenix eyes were fixed on me. She's in worse shape than I am. It took me a second to understand. Was she trying to say that she wasn't the only one getting hit and that Judy was hurt worse? Seeing this normally cool and composed beauty seriously correcting me on this point, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She's actually proud of it. I found it a little funny. Judy's not all there. Why bother arguing with her? Kathy leaned in closer, her eyes narrowing. Are you defending her? What kind of reading comprehension was that? I'm saying you didn't need to fight her and get yourself hurt like this. As I spoke, I subconsciously reached out and touched her face. After I did it, I realized what I'd done and awkwardly pulled my hand back. Are you worried about me? Kathy moved closer again, our noses almost touching. Her eyes were so intense they made me feel hot all over. I couldn't sit still. I mumbled a reply and tried to escape with an excuse. I'll go get you a glass of water. Before I could stand up, she grabbed my wrist. I was caught off guard and fell toward her. She lay back on the sofa and I ended up hovering over her, the space between us almost non-existent. My face instantly turned beet red. Kathy was getting closer and closer. I swallowed hard, struggling to control myself. Kathy looked absolutely delicious right now, but she wasn't sober. If I lost control and did something to my benefactor, would I live to see another day? Kathy, I called out her name urgently and pushed myself off the sofa to stand up. Kathy Kathy looked stunned, her unfocused gaze sharpening. I'll go get you a glass of water. I blurted it out and fled. I composed myself in the kitchen. When I came back with a glass of water, the living room was empty. My phone dinged, a message from Kathy. I'm tired, you should go home and get some rest too. The atmosphere between Kathy and me suddenly became strange. We were still eating together and filming videos as usual, but something just felt different. I posted the newly edited video and even the fans had questions. Why does the CEO's voice sound a little down? Has she been too busy lately? That's it. It was her mood. It felt like she was a little unhappy. But why? A few days later, Kathy sent me a message. Something's come up recently. You don't have to come over for a while. Take a good break. Then she sent me a red envelope full of cash. I typed and deleted my reply over and over. I wanted to ask her what was wrong, but I didn't feel like it was my place. In the end, I gave up. I soon found out the real reason. I was in class when several news alerts popped up on my phone. Apex Biosystems CEO announces divorce, exec mistress and illegitimate son suspected to be moving in. Mysterious heiress's status at risk, $300 billion fortune in dispute. I was shocked. Apex Biosystems, isn't that Kathy's family company? So that's what happened. No wonder she was in a bad mood. All morning news and rumors circulated on social media. Things like the heiress's mother left with nothing, the heiress was out of favor with her grandfather and had her credit cards cut off, she was deep in debt from frequenting high-end places, and she was kicked out of the family. A whole mess of gossip. Kathy didn't reply to my messages. She probably hadn't seen them. The second class was over. I bolted for Kathy's place, but an old white-haired butler answered the door. He adjusted his glasses and asked me what I wanted. My eyes widened in shock. She even sold the house. Had Kathy really become a fallen heiress? Would she be homeless, or would someone try to harm her? My mind raced, images from TV dramas flashing through my head. The next thing I knew, I was checking my bank account balance. Gritting my teeth, I transferred a six-figure sum to Kathy. Don't worry about it, use this for emergencies. I'd earned a decent amount as a content creator over the past few months, so I had the cash. After a thought, I sent another message. Do you have a place to stay? If not, you can rent an apartment. I sent her some rent money too. Kathy still didn't reply. Could her phone have been cut off too? I worried all day until evening when Kathy finally messaged me, just 2 words, come downstairs. When I saw Kathy downstairs, she looked no different than usual. I ran over, looking her up and down. Are you okay? She seemed fine. Why did you send me money? Kathy suddenly asked, her expression complicated as she stared at me. I saw the news, I mumbled. I thought you were in trouble. You can use it for now. If I'm in trouble, you'll give me money. Kathy looked down and chuckled. What are we to each other for you to be so good to me? Our friends. Are you this good to all your friends? I thought about it and nodded slowly. I guess so. Back when Judy and I were friends, no one ever said I wasn't good to her. But if I had to give the old Judy that much money, I would have hesitated. Maybe because Kathy has helped me so much, she carries more weight. But I don't want to be friends with you. As Kathy's words fell, I froze. It made sense, really. My relationship with Kathy was transactional. Why would I ever think she'd see me as a friend? Even thinking that, my heart ached. I lowered my eyes and mumbled a quiet "oh." Kathy seemed to sigh softly and moved closer. Leo, can't you tell I like you? I froze, then suddenly realized what she was saying and shot my head up in shock. What did Kathy say? She likes me. All the moments from the past flooded my mind, the subtle physical contact, the intimate words, the incredible generosity. It all seemed to point to this. But Kathy likes me, how is that possible? I thought for a moment and asked cautiously, are you just saying this because you're broke and still want me to cook for you? Kathy looked at me and it seemed like she was so angry she had to laugh. I have money. That messy business doesn't affect me. She asked, why do you think I wouldn't like you? Because I know my place. All those years at the White House taught me one thing: some gaps can't be bridged by feelings alone. When there's a material imbalance, you're automatically in the weaker position in a relationship. I don't want that. Even if Kathy isn't like Judy, even if she's a wonderful person, what if one day she suddenly changes and starts to look down on everything about me? After a long hesitation, I said, we're too different. How are we different? Kathy retorted, aren't you making plenty of money on your own now? If we have to talk about differences, you're a self-made hard-working person while I'm just an unremarkable rich kid who can't do anything practical and even needs you to do my homework. The difference is indeed huge. I was dumbfounded. That's not what I don't care. Kathy took my hand, her fingers naturally weaving through the gaps in mine, our hands interlocking. She looked at me seriously. Leo, be my boyfriend. After thinking for a long moment, I nodded. Truth be told, with Kathy's beautiful face and model-like figure in front of me every day, I'd been losing my self-control for a while. The second I nodded, her fingers tightened and a simple, elegant ring was slipped onto my middle finger. The size and fit were perfect. When did you get this? Kathy gently kissed my finger. When I opened my phone and saw your transfer, I knew you like me, so I had it prepared. As for the size, I've been planning this for a long time. After Kathy and I got together, she became much clingier. Kisses when we met, kisses when we parted, in video calls every night before bed without fail. After a while of being lovey-dovey, I suddenly remembered something. I don't think I ever asked you, when did you start liking me? It couldn't have been since she took that screenshot of Judy's post, could it? A long time ago. She buried her head in my neck. You probably don't remember, but we met when we were very young. I scratched my cheek. This plot is a little cliché. Kathy laughed softly. It's just that cliché. My parents' relationship was never good, so they left me with a nanny. Later that nanny was bribed by my father's enemies and sold me. I was kidnapped and taken to a small rural village in Denver. I kept trying to run away, but I was always caught and starved for days. But I kept running. The 5th time I escaped, I ran into a boy. He took me home, gave me food, and had someone call the police. I blinked, studying her face. The face in front of me slowly merged with the image of a skinny little girl from my childhood. So that was you. Before my parents brought me to the White family, I lived in a village with my grandma and aunt. My childhood memories are blurry, but the kidnapping was a huge deal, so I remembered it clearly. Kathy hummed in agreement. Then I was rescued. But because of that, I developed psychological issues. I couldn't eat and had to rely on regular hypnotherapy to forget the past and live a normal life. But hypnosis wears off eventually. 6 months ago, I suddenly remembered everything and the therapy stopped working. So when you saw me that time, I hadn't eaten in a while and was surviving on glucose drips. No wonder she was so thin back then. I stroked her cheek, my heart aching. But luckily, I could eat the food you gave me, just like when we were kids. So now I'm in treatment. Kathy played with a lock of my hair. The day you thought I was a fallen heiress, I was actually at my therapist's office. I wasn't ignoring your messages on purpose. And the house was just being cleaned by the butler. My heart ached for her. I held her face and kissed her cheeks. I'll go with you from now on. You'll get better. And even if you don't, I'll feed you until you're happy and plump. Kathy tilted her head, bringing her lips to mine. Kiss me here. I felt a little helpless, but I held her face and gently pressed my lips to hers. She pressed back without hesitation, sucking and licking gently. When we parted, she was breathing heavily. When are you taking me to meet your parents? Are you in such a hurry? She leaned in and bit my lower lip, her tone full of complaint. That other person has met them countless times. That other person was Judy. Ever since her fight with Kathy, she seemed to have been hit hard and hadn't come looking for me again. I was happy for the peace and quiet. But Kathy was always very sensitive about Judy bringing up the past from time to bicker with her imaginary rival. Okay, how about I take you home for the new year? Kathy thought for a moment and gave a haughty nod. Fine.